I'm still all riled up from the video I just recorded, so let me calm down a little bit. We'll read this story. Trans athlete demolishes 4 women's powerlifting world records. There is a reason why we separate biological males from biological females in sports. It's because of the male advantage. I don't understand how we can literally have this idea of male privilege, but at the same time, this idea that there's no such thing as male advantage in sports. Excuse me, burping. 4 women's powerlifting world records were shattered on Sunday by Mary Gregory, a biological male who identifies as female. Transgender athlete set Masters powerlifting world records in women's squat, bench press, and deadlift, and scored a Masters world total record. What a day. 9 for 9. Masters world squat record, Open world bench record, Masters world DL record, and Masters world total record, Gregory posted on Instagram. A huge thank you to Raw Powerlifting Federation from the bottom of my heart. As a transgender lifter, I was unsure what to expect going into this meet, and everyone, all the spotters, loaders, referees, staff, meet director, all made me welcome and treated me just as another female lifter. Thank you. The athlete continued. And thanks to all the fans in the audience who cheered me on and congratulated me. Transgender women share the platform, trans rights, etc. Some of the hashtags. So they have the image, but, Instagram doesn't allow it. So 9 for 9. They won 9 out of 9 and set 4 world records. They said, let's read. Still processing, full meet recap to come, but I want to thank a few people from our initial consultation. I was told, Savvy Savit, that I wanted to cut the 82.5 kg class, go 9 for 9, and set some records. We did it. I don't think she was happy with me cutting, but she was there offering her support. When I needed a pick-me-up or advice, she was there. Thank you, coach. Okay, I get it. We don't need to read this. Treating me like a female lifter. This is not the first time that biologically female athletes have been supplanted by biological males. For example, Connecticut high schooler Selena Soul appeared on Fox News' The Ingram Angle in February to speak out about trans athletes in women's sports after 2 biologically male transgender sprinters beat the field, effectively bumping Soul from an opportunity to compete in front of college coaches. Listen, transgender athletes. The real issue here is not trans men, because you have that wrestler in Texas, I think it is, who wants to compete against males and isn't allowed to. So the issue here is that testosterone confers an advantage to people. You take testosterone, you get more muscle mass, you become stronger. Someone who goes through male puberty is going to be stronger. Someone did send me an email saying that biological males with or without puberty will still have some advantages over females. I don't know enough about it. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the basics. On average, men are taller than women, have more bone density, have more muscle mass. This is obvious. And this is actually one of the more egregious instances that kind of shocks me. 4 world records. I'm sorry. This person did not shatter 4 world records. Let's rephrase this to be fair. This person set a trans woman world record, okay? Because there is a difference. You should be allowed to compete in probably a trans category, and that's fine. I don't see what the problem with that is. But there is a serious disadvantage for biological females versus a trans woman. I don't even know how to say it anymore. It's like we're watching people cheering, jumping up and down for winning 9 out of 9 and setting world records as if they actually did. Am I going to be impressed that I ran faster than, if an average guy ran faster than the average woman? Not really. There was a pro skateboarder who made comments about women in skateboarding, and it was extremely offensive and sexist, as they said, because I didn't really pay attention to the story, but it was something like, women probably shouldn't skate or something like that. That's not true. Women should absolutely skate, but I gotta say this, okay? I don't know of any trans women pro skateboarders. Maybe they exist. I did see one story a little while ago about a trans woman skateboarder, but this is an interesting phenomenon because the disparity in skill between male skateboarders and female skateboarders is absolutely insane. Okay, it is insane. The disparity is like several orders of magnitude. When you look at some sports, team sports, you can see that it's possible a man could play against a woman in a lot of ways, on average. So like playing basketball, I think men have advantages, jump higher, more muscle mass, taller. But in many circumstances, you can still play a good game with females, and actually, there's actually some competition. It's not just going to be like the dude just slam dunks not a million times. Not in skateboarding. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I have a few of my friends are prominent female pros. A good friend of mine, really good at skateboarding, better than me in a lot of different ways. But skateboarding is an individual sport. And it's interesting to me because I always saw skateboarding as kind of an art form, meaning the application of skill, it's less about how much power you have. Because, you know, some of the best skateboarders in the world have no technique, and they're sloppy, but they're brazen. They will jump off a building. And so it's possible for anyone, male or female, to do the same thing, except more bone density. So when it comes for women, they can't jump as high in most circumstances. Just take my word for it, and like watch videos, and you will see the best females. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just going to be straight up. When you watch the best female vert skater, her skills are typically on par. I'm not picking somebody out specifically, but their skills will be on par with, like, I don't know, an 8 or 9 year old male or female. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really trying to make this clear. Okay. There's, I think the record for the first, the person to set the 1080, the first person was like 13 or 14 years old when they did it. So there absolutely are good skaters who are female, but they tend to be a lot better when they're around the same age, pre-puberty, or like around puberty age with young boys. And then something happens through puberty, and the skill of males in skateboarding becomes absolutely just several orders of magnitude higher. I'm talking like jumping 3 or 4 times as high. I'm talking like falling substantially more. A friend of mine, who is one of the most prominent female skateboarders, said in an interview that she doesn't like getting hurt and that it's much harder for her. She can't jump as high. And she made these comments. And I was really surprised no one called her out for it because she is prominent with a ton of followers. And I was like, whoa. Like, that's kind of stuff that gets you some regressive left outrage, but skateboarding is probably overlooked in this regard. The thing is, powerlifting is pure strength, okay? For someone to shatter these records, it's like, yeah, you're biologically male. I get it. You've gone through hormone therapy and all that stuff. I just think maybe the solution is a transgender category. That's fair, right? Because then you have people who have done similar things with their lives and are in a similar category. Biological females don't have this advantage. They're not going to have the strength to lift the same way a biological male will. So, speaking on the Ingram angle, Selena Soul said, I'm very happy for these athletes and I fully support them for being true to themselves and having the courage to do what they believe in. But in athletics, it's an entirely different situation. It's scientifically proven that males are built to be physically stronger than females. It's unfair to put someone who is biologically male, who has not undergone anything in terms of hormone therapy, against cisgender girls. But listen, it's not even that simple. As Joe Rogan pointed out in one of his videos, it's not even simple as to say someone who's undergone hormone therapy is going to be fair to compete against any other biological female. Joe Rogan points out bigger hands, stronger grip, bigger joints, more striking force. It doesn't matter if they're undergoing hormone therapy. So even in that capacity, it's hard to quantify. It's hard to figure out. But you know what? Listen, I'm not going to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't do. I'm not going to tell this organization they should and shouldn't have people. I'm not going to tell trans people what they should or shouldn't do. I'm not going to advocate for anything. Just leave me out of it. But I'll say this to the women who compete: whatever you choose, just know you're going to be second class in these sporting events. It's literally just science. You know, and it's one of the scariest things about what's happening in our culture, that you actually have NBC and other outlets claiming it's not science. You have Elon Omar saying it's unscientific. This is the most insane science denial, because we're not talking about someone reading a chart and trying to determine whether or not something is happening or not. We're not talking about someone saying, do I believe in climate change? We're talking about someone looking at a room full of men and women and saying they're the same. They're not. It's just not the case. And this is what we're going to get. We're going to get people who are going to get smeared and slammed. We're going to get activists, famous LGBT rights activists like Martina Navratilova, who comes out and says that biological males shouldn't compete against women, and then get slammed and be forced to apologize for it. I think she had to apologize. I'm not entirely sure. Does it say? But then we saw this. Sharon Davies says, I have nothing against anyone who wishes to be transgender. However, I believe there is a fundamental difference between the binary sex you are born with and the gender you identify as. To protect women's sports, those with a male sex advantage should not be able to compete in women's sport. So I don't know who this is. She's Olympic medalist, came forward to highlight her concerns. It is not mainstream to support biological males competing against biological females in any regard. It's not mainstream at all. Okay, it is a small group that are pushing this, and you have prominent mainstream personalities and Olympic medalists who are saying enough. I don't even know what's the point, man. But I would encourage you to do this. Watch, like, Google search best female skateboarder and best male skateboarders. Watch Nyjah Houston and Chaz Ortiz and Neen Williams, and then search for best female skater. Go to Barracks, Berricks, Barracks.com. It's one of the most prominent skateboarding websites. They have a private park. Look, I mean, it's just all dudes, and they do have women at the park sometimes. But the point is, if you just watch these videos, the difference in skill, reflex, speed, flexibility, like, guys are just so insanely above women in terms of what they're doing, and it's not meant to be a reflection on the integrity or honor of women. It's just quite literally, you will have dudes pulling off things that are mind-blowingly insane. That I've been a lifetime skateboarder since I was 13, just about 14 years old. And there are some things I'm watching these younger guys do that I never even thought was possible. Some of the things they're jumping off of blow my mind. And then when I watch female skateboarders, I'm like, hey, that's really cool. Like, it's like, that's not bad. There are very few female skateboarders who are anywhere near the level of the pro guys. And again, I'm trying to make it clear, I'm not trying to be a dick. I think everybody should skate. It's an amazing, fun thing to do. Everyone is welcome, no judgment. And you don't have to be the best skateboarder to be good at skateboarding. You just have to have fun and accomplish something that overcomes your own limitations. That's why it's great. It's an individualist sport. But when you look at competition, you will never see, in my opinion, I could be wrong, I believe you will never see a biological female competing against a biological male in the top echelon in terms of the skill. So it's entirely possible that they just have women compete against men. But I mean, like, legitimately. Because the skills of the top guys competing in, like, street league series, I watch that stuff and I can't even believe some of the things they're doing. Just really technical, powerful, insane, amazing stuff. And it progresses so rapidly, and people are risking their bodies. Like, man, I watched one dude, like, a few months ago busted his jaw open. It is what it is, you know? I can't believe it's even controversial for me to talk about. I got one more video coming up in a few minutes. I will see you then.